wanted to do a test to answer some of my own questions. Since I had never been to the highest possible level in Oblivion, I'm like, well, I could just console command my way there, so I did that. You can see I had a new character. I named him Console Boy. That way I knew who he was, and I can't really do anything with him after this, because you can see here the little icon that's the broken trophy. Unless I use a mod to undo it, basically his achievements are shut off, because I did use the console after this initial save. If we go here to the end of the dungeon, because I wanted to do my testing after he was able to choose his birth sign and his class and so forth, because if I did it here, then to me, it wouldn't be a real test of how a real character would level up to whatever the end cap is, which, since I'm using the 2.2x mod for skills transferring to XP, which transfers to levels, I wanted to test that with the full build as you leave the sewer. So I did that here, and obviously the console, using the console broke the achievements, and that's fine. I don't care about that for this guy. But if we look at his build here, we can see that he's this is how he's built, and these are his major skills, these are his minor skills. And you can see that he did level just a little bit here because of gaining a little bit of XP just from running around. I didn't do the RP walk thing this time, and I did actually engage in some combat. But before I made this save, I used console commands to reset all of his skills back to where they were or where they should be without the 2 or 3 point improvements that he achieved, like in athletics and so forth. So some of these, like light armor, I brought it back down. I think the blade one I had to bring back down. Although when you boost it up, it seems like it overwrites that anyway. But anyway, I did transfer these numbers over to a spreadsheet, which is something I like to do. So we can see here at level 1, if we go to his attributes here, I copied those over here, 40, 50, 55, 30, 30, 35, 40, and 50. And then I copied all of his major and minor skills up here. These are backwards because of the way I did the spreadsheet. These really should belong at the top, but I already built them down here, so I'm not going to redo it. So we see all 30s, a 25, a 35. We see a 5, a 10, 10, 10, 15, 10, 15 on all 5s, right? So now that we've established that, I basically stood here at the sewer exit and leveled him up by hand using console commands. So I would go in and I would say, you know, advanced skill, light armor by, you know, some number to get him from whatever he was all the way to 100 in one shot. So, you know, I started with, let's see here. I started with Armorer. So he was level 1. I added 70 skill, and that added enough XP to get him to level 7, I think is what it was. No, I guess it was level 8. So I guess it's from, well, let me think here. How did I do this? Yeah, okay, so the number here is what I added so that he would reach level 2, right? And then that actually gave him enough XP to get all the way to level 7. That's how it works. So he was level 7 when I finished spending all that XP to level him up. And then I spent enough XP, or I leveled his blade to 100, and that gave him enough XP. Notice it's decreasing each time, diminishing returns on XP versus level because it takes more XP to level up each time. But if you follow this down, I just did one category to the next, leveling them from whatever they were to 100 using the difference between 100 and that number. So this one was 65, this one was 95, 90, 90, 90, all the way over until I got to the last one. And you can see, just as predicted on the mod page, you end at level 31 because the last skill up to 95 gets you almost to 32, which we can see if I load in that one page or load in that last save number 4. You can see it took me like 40 minutes to do that, to level him very, very carefully. I tried to monitor every progress every point along the way. So we have 100s and everything up here. And you can see these almost 32. If he didn't have that initial XP, he'd probably be just almost invisibly to the left of this spot, because the amount of XP that he gained going from level 1 to 1.01 or whatever it was, he was at 1.05, is probably almost non-existent at this point. It's so little XP that it would barely nudge this to the left just a little bit. So it's effectively nothing. It effectively has no effect on this result right here. So I don't worry that it's there. So that's why you say you level to 31. Now, if we had fudged that a little bit, if we go in and modify that pack file just a little bit, just a tiny little hair, right? We might be able to get to 32, but I would need to go in and edit the pack file, and I don't feel like doing that. And I'd have to get extra tools and all that, or I can just edit the alter any file, but I'd rather use a pack file. It's like a modular thing you can just drop in, right? You can see it in the description for this video. It's in there somewhere, right? Anyway, it's the 2.2 leveling change that sort of hopes to mirror the original classic Oblivion leveling XP curves, and it lands you at level 31. Now, I could go in with a console command, which I did in testing, and I could go in and say, let's do advanced skill marksman by 10, right? So now, since I boosted it just a little bit, and of course marksman is now higher than it should be, right? It's actually 110 behind the scenes, even though it displays it as 100. Like if I go back in here, it'll say 110, right? You can't get this legitimately. You have to use a console command to get any of these above 100. So you literally are capped, and you cannot level higher without using the console command. You're just stopped right there. So now I can go in here and I can say, okay, so it's advance level. So now I'm like, yay, I'm pretending that I'm sleeping. Now I can actually get these last ones to 100, and life is good, right? I can artificially get myself there. That's one of the problems I'm seeing with the leveling system as it still is it's a bit clunky when you reach the end of your level cap, right? When I reach level 31, now I could have maybe assigned points a little bit differently here, because I sort of just did it all the way down like this, and I was sort of just doing it based on I'm thinking, okay, well, endurance is important, I want willpower, I want intelligence, and then the others were like, well, okay, I should probably work on whatever it is. I was working on strength for a while. If I had started strength sooner, maybe I could have gotten that to 100, but it's always going to be push and shove by the end of it, because it's never going to line up perfectly. And even this last one, you might have to make some compromises and not really finish it out properly, because you're always required to spend it on 3 different things. And that sort of makes it complicates the process in the last several levels of leveling. If you're getting to level 44, which I think is the Oblivion Remastered true end cap, if you don't change anything about it, then you probably have more leeway and you can get more of these things all the way, maybe even all of them to 100. I don't know. I should probably test it, but I haven't tested it. But you can see it's a compromise. Yes, all of these were 12 all the way across. And above here is a cheat sheet for the console commands, just because I'd never really used them that much before. I generally just played the game like even a year ago or a few years ago when I was doing the efficient leveling. I didn't like using console commands. It felt cheaty, and I just use them for testing, like in this case, because I just don't like using them generally, just unless I'm doing an experiment to test things, and that way I learn a little bit more about the game going forward. So I'll delete this character, or I might keep him around just for testing purposes. I might test him from level 1 using the original Oblivion Remastered curve just to see how many of these I can get to 100. Not that they're all that important. I think the last 2 here are absolutely not important. And agility you could argue is not that important either. Maybe if I was going to sacrifice on anything, I maybe should have focused on strength versus agility, right? For the extra carry weight. Agility really only counts a lot if you're a marksman, and you probably shouldn't be playing a marksman build except for like debuffing enemies with like, you know, poisons and things. But yeah, if I were to do this all over again, I'd probably just put it in strength rather than agility. Agility's not bad, it's just not as important as, you know, the marksman skill itself or the blade skill itself. Like I would never buff agility past 100 using like spells, but I would buff my willpower and my endurance if need be. Definitely willpower and intelligence to like let me cast more and get that regen like boosting up because it's exponential once you go past 100. There's videos online about it. I've never tried it myself, but I've seen people demonstrate it and I'm like, I like that. I might like to try that someday. Again, my experience with Oblivion was very casual. It was mostly on the Xbox where I couldn't mod anything anyway. I couldn't use console commands anyway. And this was back in 2006. And I got maybe 300 hours into the game, if I'm being generous. And then my second experience was on Windows, using the Game of the Year edition like about 4 years ago, where I was starting to mod it just a little bit just to clean up the UI and clean up the inventory system. And then I was doing efficient leveling there. And then a year ago, I was modding it, not really to level, just to see how far I could go with making it pretty with mods, like including all the beautifications of the game. And then I sort of tired of doing that because I spent like, 40 hours experimenting with all the mod manager stuff and, you know, running through basically a checklist of the correct order of installation. And it was just, you end up playing that game rather than actually playing the game itself. You play the modding game, like, ooh, how good can I make it look? Ooh, how far can I push the AI? And you don't actually end up playing the game, which is sort of the point. You want to play the game. That's why Remastered is so beautiful, is because they've done all the beautification already. They've fixed a lot of the weird things about the game that I don't need to fix with modding. And now I'm just sort of, modding here is now just icing on the cake, you know, making it behave a little bit better. I don't have to worry about, you know, making the potato heads go away and making the mouths look right and making the eyes look right. All separate mods, right? In the original game, in Classic. So it's a lot easier. A mod that makes the vegetation disappear when you pluck it. Again, no longer necessary. It's all built in now. Mwah. They did a great job. I love it. And now it's just a matter of how little can I do in order to play the game and make it fun to play in a way that I like. So I'm still on the fence about how I'm going to proceed. I'm probably going to stick with Brille the way she is. Not that anyone cares but me, but I might just run with her for a few levels just to see if it is good or terrible. So like if I go back to this last save for Brille at level 12 and I see what state she's in. I mean, I have put a lot of time into her, but I don't have a sunk cost fallacy with her. I'm willing to completely reject her again for the 8th time if need be. If I realize, you know what, I don't like the way this has started, I'll do all of this over again, because who doesn't love starting from scratch? You get a fresh shot at everything. You get to see the quests again, especially now that you know them a little bit better. Because there are some of these quests I haven't done since 2006. I'm like, I barely vaguely remember them. And there's a certain joy in being able to do a quest that you know well. You know all the ins and outs and secrets to it. There's just a pure joy in that. Like, this is familiar. I know this. This is good. But you can see that she's sort of stuck with a weird number of skills, and she's blocked from leveling because I just need to like level up just one of these a little bit. Like I can just stand here and go, well, I can't stand here now. I need to cast an Unburden and just stand here and jump a few times. And you'll see the problem that I'm facing once I level my athletics to the next point. How far is she? Athletics Is it even leveling? Doesn't seem like it's leveling. What about, geez Louise, how do we level these things when they don't want to level? Alteration, okay, that's close. Yeah, alteration, so let's go to, this is alteration, right? I can never remember which ones are alteration. Like conjuration is obvious, restoration is easy. Okay, that's it. That is alteration. Okay, so I'll just keep casting this over and over again. Okay, there we go. Now that this has gone ahead by 1, I can now sleep again. So now if I sleep, now watch what happens. This is the conundrum I'm facing. I'm at level 13 now, so let's just do some at random here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, confirm. And now if we look, she is, oh, there we go. Now she's ready to like not be instantly pegged to 14. So that's good. So maybe this is a good place to sort of pick up the pieces, you know, where she's not going to have this weird, you know, immediately going to 14, to 15, to 16 because of all this pent up XP. Now, if we do this again, is it going to jump her to 14? Let's try with conjuration. There it is. Okay, there we go. And so now we're 39. But, oh, good. It's behaving now. It wasn't doing this before. Maybe I did something wrong. But, yeah, this might be a good place to pick up. Not right now, but I'll go back to that save and work on my my alchemy, maybe, or maybe I'll throw everything back in the case so I'm not overburdened. Anyway, so that's a good revelation. I might just stick with this preset, this specific, what is it called? Let me pull this up real quick. Shut this down. Let me go to my YouTube descriptions. This one, Level Up Pacing Overhaul, which is right here, right? The one I showed before with the curves. So I might just stick with this because I do like the fact that it gets me higher skill levels before I get to 25. And then I go into the portals to close them down. And then I'm, you know, fairly well leveled as far as all my skills go. I'm testing the dynamic fog control. That's this morning. Cartographer's map of Oblivion. I'm testing that this morning as well, which looks like, no, which looks like this, which is pretty and has all these side roads that I find annoying that they're not on the map. So they did a pretty good job here. They noticed how they put the correct, you know, beautiful, ancient looking, you know, handwritten text everywhere. Like they've moved it around. It's like they've rebuilt the map from scratch, which is nice. They did a really good job. I like this. And supposedly they fixed like where your little arrow wasn't lining up here correctly. So like if I can't go here. I'd have to empty my inventory here. Plus I'm inside. So I'll be testing this for a while. It looks nice. It looks pretty. Very colorful. I like that. I don't have a problem with that. And then the other one, which is a fog reducer. So like if I throw all this stuff back in the... Oh, my thing's not working, is it? I have to figure out why my my mouse button rebind thing is not working. Let me just dump all this stuff in here. I like things that make my game prettier, like my reshade presets. Things that sort of tame the fog a bit are nice. Can't do this too fast because it'll crash. Which is weird because you wouldn't expect that with a local game. Except it is Bethesda. And then let's see. Should be good now, right? Now if we go outside, the way the fog thing is supposed to work. Yeah, I did have another one in there that I could toggle on and off, which I might go back to if this one doesn't do what I want. But supposedly this one changes the amount of fog depending on time of day. So like right now there's like no fog in the distance, but then the fog should roll in. I don't know if I like that. I might want just a little bit of fog in the distance because, oh, there we have some. There we have some fog. I see it. But it's supposed to roll in a little bit. Like it should creep in and take over as the night sets in, and maybe as, you know, it gets dark and the fog comes in. And so we'll watch as the sun sets here. Yeah, make it more dramatic. There we go. Bump my reshade preset down a couple levels in darkness. Oh, we're starting to get, is that fog I'm seeing in this area? Maybe. Yeah, looks like it. If I turn this off, yep, starting to get foggy again. I can see. And that's fine. I do like some fog in the distance. More than this, I might tweak the settings a little bit. I just, like this, I like a lot. I don't mind it being a little bit closer because it does give good foreground, background separation visually. Just not as much as it normally is by default. Blech. We'll just watch this for a little bit. See what happens. This is sort of my go-to test spot. This and watching the sunset from Anvil, the Dunbarrow Cove location. Let's see, where was I? I was looking at that up there, and it's like my favorite camera angle because I have things in the deep foreground, things in the deep background. I have this reference point up on the hill with the DLC location there, Frost Crag Spire. Uh-oh, we've got blinking trees. Look at that. Yeah, I heard that there's, I read on the page that there's a blinking issue. So let's go look at that real quick. Let me look at the blinking issue. That is, let's open the web page. Now that I'm seeing the blinking, dynamic fog control. Let's see what they say about the blinking, because I'm also testing that just to see if I like it. Again, I can always go back to the other one. Let's see, posts. I'm thinking there was a, maybe he had it in his description. He or she. Okay, I'm using the balanced one right now. I know because I looked at the JSON files. Okay, yeah, I've turned off the other fog one that I had. If you know, here we go. If you notice flickering on the rising sun, well, or setting sun, the mod fixed the issue with me. Remove volumetric fog, bloom, CA, anti-stuttering. Okay, so it's a bloom issue. Prefer to use a configurable bloom with a reshade displacement. If you use bloom with a reshade, I recommend this mod. I don't. I don't ever change the time scale, so yep, that's good. Using presets. All right. So that's remove volumetric fog, bloom, CA. So this is the fix for those trees that were stuttering. All right, that's a bit more than I want to do to fix this problem, so I might just revert back to the other mod. See the blinking there in the trees? Yeah, that's a no-go for me. I don't want to have to add another mod to make this mod work. I'd prefer this mod fix the problem that it introduces. I mean, it's a small ask, I think. But I do want to see what it does in the morning. I want to see how the fog looks in the morning. My wife is on a conference call on her laptop, but she's not streaming herself. So if we do drop frames here, that's probably why. It's because of little bursts of, packets that her system's sending out. Definitely very clear. Definitely clear. Almost too clear, maybe? Here, let me go forward an hour. This is the night I remember in Oblivion. This is very, very nice, very pretty. Let's go 6 hours. See if we can see the fog rolling in. Okay, no fog rolling in yet. The Aurora Borealis is disappearing. Saw that. So we basically have 2 minutes per hour. I don't think I want to wait that long. Let's go 2 hours till dawn. Do we have fog? I don't see any fog. Ah, there it is. Here comes the fog. But honestly, you would see fog before now. The fog should actually appear at like 3, 4 in the morning, and then immediately get burned off when the sun appears. But only if the sun appears. Like if it's overcast, the fog should stay there, maybe diminish a little bit, at least until the temperature rises, right? Because then the air can no longer, is not cold enough to carry the moisture as little water droplets. Yeah, I don't think I like the speed with which it animates. Like it should roll in very slowly, beginning at like 4 in the morning. Like about 1/20th of the speed that it did. I like the concept. It just needs to be tweaked, I think. All right, well, I'm going to go back to my other preset or my other mod and not use this one because that one does more what I want and I can turn it on and off if I need to. But that's it for now. I'm probably going to stick with this character, but not with this particular save. Ooh, there's the sunrise. Now, will it get rid of the fog as it comes through? Ideally, the fog would disappear. Whoops. The fog would disappear as the sun is hitting it. But, I mean, it's not going to be able to control it that way because the fog is not controlled by where the sun is hitting. It's controlled by a depth parameter in the engine. So, a little fudge factor there. Here's without reshade. Here's with reshade. I could amplify the effect by going to my heavy preset, which I think looks gorgeous with sunrises and sunsets. Like, this doesn't look terrible to me. I do think there should not be this much haze that far away. I think it should be a little bit less haze. Because right now, all that water would be evaporating. It would just, basically evaporate into the air and the air would just be humid. But anyway, it's good. good for testing. All right, that's it. Bye-bye.